Alright fellas, welcome back. Just a short video to talk about some room acoustics fundamentals. I've been hearing a whole lot of bullshit about this thing here and there, and I just wanted to debunk some things that seems to be important to know when you start a home studio venture. You know, you want to do some acoustic treatment. I think there are some key factors to take into account. So first of all, dimensions. I know there's a lot of people, they don't necessarily have a penthouse to have a big place, resonating place. That sounds nice actually. So they just gonna have a small room. But with small rooms, especially rectangular shaped, you're gonna have a lot of problems. You just not get started on the right foot with such a geometry, because you're gonna have axial modes, tangential modes, and you really gonna have big problems with bass. Those that are professional know about that. Amateur, probably not. But yeah, basically you want to be careful with the bass response. But that's something that I'm gonna show you guys with my acoustic software. It is a multi-physics software, but I'm using it for the sake of acoustics modeling. The second thing is speaker placement. So you want to make sure that there is equal distance from you to the well, if you're using a stereo system with a pair of two speakers, you want to make sure that you are the same distance. This is pretty simple, basic stuff. Then about treatment itself, you're gonna see a lot of porous absorption on the first reflection points of the room, which is something commonly done. You just gotta know that porous absorption is not the only way to do room treatment. It is effective on the higher part of the spectrum. So if we take all the way from the mid-low to the high ends, you're gonna have good absorption at those specific frequencies, but you ain't gonna have nothing with the bass, right? So just to let you know, because your porous material, the depth of it would have to be too wide. So let's just forget about this thing when it comes to bass. And the second thing is, it depends why are you using your room for. If it is critical listening, then you may want to eliminate room resonance. So you want to have a reverberation as little as possible. But if it's for recording, you want to have a reverberant place, because it's gonna give a little push to the voice. It's gonna give more envelope to the voice. The reason why you're gonna find so much artificial reverb on vocals is because people are recording in dead places where it's too dampened. So the vocal feels too fragile, and I really recommend to check out, for example, isolated vocals of people like MJ, because those guys, they were recording in music halls, right? This Los Angeles place, I don't remember which one, where there's a footage of that. he was recording a song of history. It was probably her song or anything like that, and the very small vocal, like the tiny vocal you do, the room helps you have a something much more wider, something much more rich. So for recording instruments, you should not have too much absorption. This is the fatal mistake that most people are doing today. There are then other kinds of tools that you can use, such as diffusers. And diffusers, they are not very renowned for, the commoners. It's because they are very pricey. Their effect is not really known. Like, if I ask anybody out there what's the plus of a diffuser, he would not have any idea. Actually, I built myself a quadratic residue diffuser, which is called a Schwaller diffuser, and so that's pretty much experimental right now, because I'm not settling here forever. But a diffuser helps you reduce comb filtering. So you're gonna have more scattering of the sound. This is something we use in real world to eliminate the wavefront to bounce back. It's especially practical when you have a microphone. If you sing in this real world, the sound waves, at least some wavelengths, are gonna bounce back, and that's how you get comb filtering. So that's for recording. And now for listening, same thing. You're gonna have your speaker monitors in place, and you're gonna get some direct, we call it specular reflection, coming from a rigid wall. And when you use a diffuser, you get a stereo image, which is a lot more pleasant. So that's a bit more technical right there, but at least on the real world, I think this is worth it. And you can also use it for first reflections, for the sake of first reflection instead of porous absorption. And now the last thing I'm going to talk about, and that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on with that comb source simulation we are handling right now. It's resonators, right? Because resonating devices are used for bass, basically. Those big old bass traps you see in the corners, this is crap. Forget about the shit. Makes no sense. But the resonating devices, they are designed to absorb specific frequencies, or a little band of frequency, and that's how you get proper absorption for bass. You can't use porous material for that, and people usually they forget about the bass response, so that's why it sounds so terrible. And again, the smaller roomies, the more problems you're gonna have with bass. It's really a sting in the flesh for recording engineers, sound engineers, and even artists that want to build their own studios. So you gotta at least be aware of that. And I'm gonna give some more clues with that second channel I'm opening, which is especially designed for giving everybody a clear insight of how to design your room. First of all, how to model your room with a 3D modeling software, and then do the proper conduct, the proper studies to find the modes, to find the average pressure when specific frequencies are targeted, and then where should you put your porous material or your resonators, your treatment, where does it fit? That's the last thing that's this very thing that nobody has a clear answer on that, especially when it comes to resonators. Like now I want to spend $1,000 on resonators, but where should I place them? You don't want to waste your money, right? So that's a big question, guys, and there's no clear answers out there about this thing. So it's a bit frustrating because we know it works, but until to what extent? That's the question, right? And that's what we are trying to answer right now, to really have a perfect sound in a home studio, which is not a professional home studio, right? It could be your living room, but mark my words, I would not recommend anybody to use a small room to create a home studio. You better use your living room, which is usually a larger place. You're gonna have a much nicer sound with that. It's all up to you checking out the how and why, and if that's possible, because that it also comes down to the market, to the real estate market. I mean, if you live in I don't know, LA or New York, you're probably gonna have a hefty rent to pay, and you probably won't have the opportunity to have a big old space. So I get it. Like sometimes you just can't do whatever you want. There are neighbors and stuff. So I get that sometimes it's a sting in the flesh to really come out with something absolutely perfect. But I think that's what you need, even for beginner or amateur level, because guess what? You want to create music, and you want your music to sound nice. So if you are at the end of the day hindered by your room and how terrible your room sounds, then how can you mix a song? How can you properly figure out what to correct, what to adjust in a mixing situation? So that's a big deal right there, and that's why I'm gonna have a dedicated channel for that, where you're gonna see it's very user friendly. Anybody can do that, and hopefully it's gonna bring some sort of a solution, a window of opportunity for those of you that want to have a user-friendly tool to model your room and choose the very proper, the very best acoustic treatment possible out there, even if it needs some DIY at some point, because it turns out that those some of the devices that they sell on the market, they are out of price. And we don't even know if that's well designed. So you better not take the risk to spill money on something that you don't even know if that's gonna work. So, well, that's all for me, and keep up with the content I'm releasing. You see, it's both music, it's both lifestyle. It goes. I'm covering so many grounds right now, but I hope that it's still captivating. I think it is, because I'm really on the edge of something very specific, very technical, and guess what? Yeah, I think it's what people are expecting nowadays. That there are so much content out there that general stuff. It's really easy to have a hold of it, but once you are really really want to get your hands dirty and go very technical, you find not so much content, unfortunately. So, well, see you guys another time.